Welcome to the Handy Hudsonite. Today we're going to look at two smartphone apps for audio and video recording that will enable you to up your game when it comes to making YouTube videos. Hi, I'm Matt and I'm here to help you with your tech, home, and auto projects so that you can get the job done. Today we have two smartphone apps that will help you in creating your YouTube videos, improving both the video and the audio quality. But before I get into that, make sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the bell for instant notifications so that you can learn how to be handy and get the job done. These two apps are absolutely free and are available on the App Store. The video app is available on the iOS. The audio app is available both on Android and iOS. Now I know that with a lot of the Android cameras, there's a lot of customization with their camera and their features. But with the iPhone, if you notice, the iPhone does not have a lot of customization. Now when we go into the video features, you have the light. You can turn the light on and off, which is fine, but you're not going to find a whole lot of their features except you have the ability to lock in a particular setting or focus when you are using the iPhone native app. When it comes to creating content on YouTube, you want to have a lot more control over the way your content looks. Now, yes, you can do a lot of customization in your video editor, but that can be difficult if you don't have certain settings put on the camera to begin with. Now, if we go into the settings of the camera here in our iPhone, scroll down to where the camera is, there's a little bit more control we have, but you have to come into the settings in order to change your recording format, whether you're recording at 720, 1080, at 30 or 60 frames or 4K. You can't do that right in the camera app, I should say. Even the slow-mo, you just can't customize that without coming into the settings of the phone, and then you've got to go back and forth. Now, or if you want to turn on the grid for helping you to get that good shot, the formats here, there's just not a lot here for customizing. So what video app am I talking about? Okay, let's go into the App Store here, and we are going to come in here and search for the Pro Movie Recorder. Here we go. As we can see here, we have two options for the Pro Movie Recorder in the App Store. We have the paid version and the free version. I have the free version and it has been more than enough for what I need. Now I don't exactly know what more you're getting with the paid version. I imagine there's a few more features that you get with having the Pro Movie Recorder Plus. I'll show you here the features of the recorder. Okay, so we come in here and we've got a number of different controls that we can play around with. I'll start here on the left side. Now here we can click on this upper left hand button, and that will enable us to, and I might leave it at this for this tutorial, it enables us to see the controls better against the black. The screen, the recording screen isn't quite as large, but this enables us to see the controls around the edge. So you can turn that off or turn it back on to get that. I guess it has three settings. You go and it will take up the entire screen if you don't want a lot of controls in the way when you're filming, but we will leave it here. Okay, this cogwheel is your various settings. Camera here, you can turn this around into selfie mode. Turn it back so that you can shoot out the front, which I recommend because that gives you the better quality video. This advanced It's just a stabilization feature, whether you want it standard, advanced, or whether you want it off. I'll leave it just on advanced. Here is the light. So if you want to record with a light on, you can do that and leave that off. Screen brightness. This is great so that you don't have to go out of the app in order to brighten the screen. You can do it right here in the app, and I will brighten that up a little bit so it's easier for you to see. Overlay. This enables you just to have more guidelines when it comes to shooting your video. This gives you a grid so that you can see, you can just line up your shot better. You also have a guide, whether you want it to be 16:9 or 240. You see that those red lines there will be your guide for that. We will turn that off. This level is a really nice feature that enables you to set a level for your video. Let me see. Oh, I had it on before. So you can see this plus here. It enables you to get the camera completely level when you line up those lines and get that center ball right in the middle. So that way you know the camera is completely level, both horizontally and vertically. We will leave that on. Okay, transform. This just enables you to do a lot of different things. If, for example, you want to flip it, you don't want it to be, you want it to be the other way, you just do that. Rotate, it just rotates it so it's upside down. If, for example, you're filming something that is in your car, or you have the camera mounted so it's a little bit different orientation, you can do that. Let's see here. Then you have the flip. So I have it, not only I have it flipped upside down and rotated, and it can become quite confusing as to where you're at. But you can click this button just to send it back to normal. The anamorphic will just put it into a much wider format to get more in from side to side. Okay, and then you have settings that these just enable you to drill down into even more areas when it comes to you have full screen mode and how long you want that to be on. Show the camera info, you can turn that off and on. You can customize the grid so that it has 3x3 squares, 4x4, 6x4. You can customize the color of the grid so it stands out more. If you're shooting a really light background, you can have it be a darker color to stand out. Cropping guides, you can change those colors and just enable you to get different formats on the way you want the screen to be cropped based on the type of project you're doing. And you come into the advanced and you can choose the newer H.265 or the older 264 format. You can actually have your volume buttons be the ones that stop and start your recordings. How you zoom, it's just the ability for the scaling on the zoom. Stabilization mode, again, this is just a longer form of what I was doing before. And then you can use an enhanced resolution. If I turn that on, it's going to enable the 1920 by 800 to actually be 2592 by 1080. So it just ups that quality. You can hide the app interface, and then these are just more related to external displays if you want to connect it into an external display, which is a great feature. Okay, you can delete temporary files, and then they have some contact option there if you have questions for them. So we have a lot of settings up here. Now let's get down in here to the video settings. Just tap on that. It's not real obvious what to do with that. It took me actually a little bit of time to realize I just had to tap on that. You come in here, you can see you can set the aspect ratio 16:9 or 4:3. We'll leave it at 16:9, and then all the different resolutions. And this again is so much easier to do right in the app rather than having to go into settings with the native iPhone camera. And you've got 4K, 3K, 1440, 1080, and 720. 720 will get you all the way up to 240 frames per second, which is great for faster motion and slow-mo. 1080 even goes up to 120. Now, again, these are limited by the iPhone model that you have. I have the 7, so the newer iPhones will be able to have higher frame rates. And you get into the 4K, the highest that this phone will allow is 30. So we'll leave it on 1080, 30 frame rate. Now you come down here, you can really bump up the quality really high. And in fact, the max will be at 100 megabits per second, which is really high quality, but the downside is it's going to be an extremely large file to export from your phone, depending on the length of your video. So if you aren't too concerned about the real HD feature of your video, then you can just keep it at low. I like to keep it here on high. You're still getting 15 megabits per second, which is definitely more than enough for your YouTube video. And then just hit the check mark there to save the settings. Same thing for the mic. Come in here. If you had an external microphone plugged in, it would show up right under here, under the input device section, right underneath where it says iPhone microphone. But because I don't have a microphone plugged in, that will just show that. Let me plug in a mic here just to show you. You can see how my external one showed up, but be careful because I did some filming just thinking that this was going to, when I plugged this in, it was going to recognize my microphone, which it did, but it still ran off of the iPhone microphone by default. So you have to tap on that. It will turn orange when you have that set. Another great feature about this, and it doesn't have this when you're just using the native iPhone, is the audio gain level. And you can set this lower or higher depending on your subject, what you're videoing. And I've had to use this a few times to bump up the volume after I did some test shoots. Worked great. And you can set the sample rate, 44.1 or 48, your audio format to AAC or PCM, whatever you prefer. Now again, once you get your settings in here, you need to hit the check mark to save it for your project. And the thing is if you remove your microphone and plug it back in, this is one aspect that's kind of a downside to this app, is you have to go back in here and reset it to that external microphone. It'll go back to the iPhone default. Okay, over here, hit this play button. Here's my video, and just tap on that and it'll bring up this screen, and then we can play it. Enable us to play that. Down here it'll show you all the different rates it's set at. So once we've played our video, once it's done playing, you'll get these options up here in the upper right hand corner. A search function, or a zoom function, I'm sorry, not search. It will zoom in on it. The delete function, the trash can if you want to delete it, or the option to play it again. Then you have this share function, which will enable you to share it in a number of different ways, whether you want to share it over Hangouts, Instagram, and this will interface with the other apps that you have on your phone to choose. Now, if you have a very large video file, then some of these apps aren't going to allow you to transfer it. Now, I do have a share file account, so I would be able to upload it to that fairly easily. Slack, but again, you got Slack has limitations when you're using the free version of it. So, and then Google Drive, you could definitely upload your footage to Google Drive. There's also the option to export it to your camera roll. Save to files is a little more confusing. I just recommend saving to the camera roll. Make sure you have enough memory to support it. When you do download the footage to and it'll go into your Photos folder on your iPhone. When you do download it, it will essentially be a double file. And you can come back in here into the Pro Movie app and delete the file from here once you download it onto your iPhone if you're finished with it there, and then it'll free up more memory. And then you have some more options, some things that come up that other ways of sharing it. So that's an overview of how to work with your footage once you've exported it. We'll go back into the settings. So we have all these settings here down along the bottom. This is a cool feature, is we can change the shutter speed on the fly. So if we want to bring it down to a much faster shutter speed for different exposures, you can do that. And once you put it in that shutter speed setting, there should be a red line that forms under. I'll tap over here so you can see it. So now you see these red lines that are under these settings. That means that it's locked at that setting. If you want to unlock it, you can just come and tap the unlock here on the screen and it'll be unlocked, and you can reset it. Same for the ISO. Do your setting. Once you've set it, it will lock. White balance. Now white balance will give you several settings that are quick depending on what sort of environment you're in, what type of light you have, whether it's daylight, cloudy, shade. Now these are nice if you're in a hurry or you just don't want to really get into more of the specific settings over here on the right. So you can see the way that it changes. You can see the way that it changes my colors once I move it up and down. Now again, just like the others, we go out of here, you'll see the red line underneath it. That means it's locked. I can just continue to adjust it. Now we'll come into the focus. Now this is a great feature if you want to get the blurred background. You're not going to get the type of blurred background that you would with the DSLR, just because the camera, particularly in my iPhone, is not going to be as high of quality as you would with the DSLR, but you can get some blurring in the background with that, which is nice. So you can focus in on something close and get a little bit of the blurring. It's hard to tell because there's not a lot behind there, but you can see some of the blurring in the background. Now again, like with the other options, if I hit the padlock symbol there, it will unlock, and then if I hit the X, it'll just disappear altogether and go back to its default setting. Okay, so there's the focus. So and then you have a zoom feature if you want to zoom in. So it just gives you a lot of different ways to customize the look and feel of your video before you even begin filming. So just a very powerful app. Okay, let's look at the audio recording app and come back to our app store, and we'll search out the voice recorder. So Voice Record Pro here, and this is a free app. You can click on this preset. There's two tabs up here at the top, Advanced and Preset. You can click on the preset and just choose simple profile that you want to work with and go with that. Then you're off to recording. If you're more interested in a lot of the different specs when it comes, you've got plenty to work with here. Different type of format, whether it's WAV, MP3, the AAC. I'll stick with the WAV because WAV has some of the best quality. And then you've got the sample rate, the bit rate, bit depth, the channels, whether you want mono or stereo, the encode quality, the file size, silence detection, save to a category, the record engine. You've got a lot of things that you can work with here. Okay, so right there, you can test the sound levels as you see, and so this is the format of the app and how it's going to look when you're using it. Get your input gain, you can adjust that, so you can turn that down or turn it up depending on your recording level. You can look at the source of your, again, just like in the video app, you have the headset microphone, and I have that plugged in right now, or you can just use the native iPhone microphone. Now if you go back and use the iPhone microphone, you can choose whether you're using the one on the bottom or on the top, which gives you a lot of versatility depending on how you're filming. And then the audio monitor, whether you want it to be headphones or some other source. And then effects and filters, if you want to add in a different type of filter to your recording, you can get into that. So now we have in here, you can start recording like that. There's that button up at the top, and then you'll see it processing. Let's go back and I'll show you the other way you can record. It was just this record rectangle here at the bottom. Click that. Well, if you're going back to the start, then you actually have to hit that twice, because that brings you into the settings, and then you hit it again. And once you see the needle, I love the old school looking needle, and that's there by default. You can actually switch that and have it look differently. So whatever you prefer. I like the needle. Maybe it's because I was born in the 70s and this just appeals more to me. Okay, so we're recording. Hit the stop button here to stop the recording. Now once we get into the dialogue here with the recording, you can hit the blue play button and it'll play back your recording. You can't hear it right now because I have my microphone plugged in. If I unplugged my microphone, you would hear it. So you have all these different options here in order to what to do with your recording when you're done. Send by email, send by text, save in a photo album, save to your Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, many different options. And one that I really like that I used the other day is the ability to do a Wi-Fi download. It actually starts a Wi-Fi server that you can connect to with any device to download your file onto your device. So it's just a great feature there. You come down here, it will do different conversions for you to MP3, MP4. You have an advanced converter if you want to get into other even more formats. Audio splitter, make a copy, append to another record. So if you've made two recordings and you want to join them together, you can do that. You can rename the file. You can take notes on the file. Color tag if you want to just make sure that you want to have it be distinctive from other files from different projects. It'll give you all the file information, all the information you could ever want about that particular file. And of course, you can delete it. So lots and lots of different features there. And I just tapped here, this menu bar thing at the top. You can toggle these to turn them on or off. So if you don't want to see all these options, let's say you found one that really works well for you, you can just turn the rest of them off and just leave the ones on that you like. I just leave them on all by default because I like trying new things. So that enables you to do that. So come back to the page, you'll see all the recordings listed out by date. Here you can choose them, just check different ones to kind of do a bulk edit on them. Here you can just order them in different ways. This enables you to delete them very quickly if you need to do that. The cloud symbol enables you to share these to different cloud services that you may use. And then of course your settings. You can come into the settings, there's a calibrate audio engine, which is great. It just prepares this for the best audio recording depending on your situation. Then you have settings themselves, so even a deeper dive into some of the ways that you can calibrate this app that I won't go into. I'll give you freedom to explore that. I will provide links to these apps down in the description. So the Pro Movie Recorder and the Voice Record Pro, again, the Pro Movie Recorder only on iPhone, and the Voice Recorder Pro is on both iPhone and Android. Two powerful apps in order to help you take your videos to the next level, especially if you don't have the money to buy a good DSLR. So if you found this helpful, be sure to like the video, subscribe to my channel for more tips, hacks, and reviews on tech, auto, and home projects, and so that you can learn how to be handy and get the job done. I will look forward to seeing you in the next video, and until then, stay handy.